What's up, everybody? Oh, let's turn that right down. That was really loud. What's up, everybody? Welcome to my 491st stream here on Twitch. You gotta love it. 491 times.
Ooh, you better believe that's a paddling.
I've hit that start streaming button every single time, friends. There's just no words. No words can describe it. Describe it unless you've done it. You know what I'm talking about. Friends, thank you very much for all of your love and support. Everything you do to make this channel a possibility. Without you, friends, there's just no channel. It's that simple. What's up, Jasper? Welcome. Welcome. Good to see you. Love that emote. It's good to see you. Happy Friday. We made it, friends. We did it. We did it. Give yourself a pat on the back. You made it. Heck, for some of you, it may be Saturday. Never know. Alrighty, friends. Today. We're doing a couple of things. We're going to be jumping back into the retro shuffler, which is hit or miss. So far, I've increased the timing on it, so it's anywhere between 1 to 5 minutes instead of 1 to 2 minutes of intervals, that is, and between games. And then we're going to switch to the saga. We'll give that a shot, friends. I'm not sure exactly where we're going to go with it or how it's going to begin, but we're just going to do it. We're just going to see what happens, because who knows? We'll go into that later. Gotta stick around and find out what it's all about. Isn't that what they do on YouTube? It's terrible. Like, stick around for the end of the video to tell you something that's not really there. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. So, I'm sorry. Let's go. Do something different here. I forgot to fix it. Oh well. Probably should have adjusted that a little earlier, but that's okay. I got you, friends. Look at how quick this is. Watch. Do this really fast. On the fly. Okay, so we'll just take that away. Alright. Let's not move that. Okay, perfect. That's right. Sweet. Okay. Gotcha. So, new TV. That's what happened. New TV. It's terrible. Okay, so there's not even a joke there. I don't know what I was thinking. Alright, these are locked. Let's see if I can unlock those layers. What did I do with those? Not that one. Try again. Okay, well. I'm tripping. There's no way they can't be here. Oh, that's why. All right. Don't mind me. Don't mind me. We'll just throw that there for now. Nothing too fancy, just... Terrible. The flow of life's just random. I got you. I got you. We gotta brand this, right? We gotta brand it Flow Life. Start a new product line, right? Isn't that what everybody does? Just start a new product line? For no reason? Let's just put it... I don't know. Just put it there for now. Nothing too fancy, friends. We're not going for fancy. Fancy. Let's move this over here. Good enough, as they say in the industry. Good enough. Okay, we got our controller with the custom bread. Let's give it up for custom bread. And my calculations are correct. I should be able to just hit this one button right here. And we get to be able to see the controller on the screen. Yes, we do. Yes, indeed. Let's see, I must have put it in that folder. I'm just chilling, friends. Chill Friday. Super chill. Cool. I'm tripping because it's not here anywhere, so... Oh, that makes sense. Cool. All right. All right, let's get started. Let's do this. See if it works. Sounds like it works to me. Yes. All right. There we go. Little delay there. I appreciate your patience. We're back in business. Let's get started. Start by shuffling. All right. Let's just give it up for technical. Oh, that's the, is that the whole computer, or what are we doing here? No, just that. All right. Got it. Makes sense. Because it wouldn't be a stream, right? It just wouldn't be a stream without that. Right. That's fun. That is fun stuff.
We're gonna Drax. Sclouts.
All right, let's try that again. Let's reload it. Right, shuffle. And we're going to use this shortcut. Take your time. Right, it's thinking. Give it a second. Nope, don't want to do that. Right.
We gonna Drax him up.
Okay. I think we're in business. Not even going to clap. We're just going to roll with it. Okay. I don't know what this is. Winter gold. We'll compete. Practice? Does the game work? Yeah. Should be straightforward. Probably was the baseball? Super Baseball Simulator. 91. Supposed to be doing stuff in the 80s. Just do 3 innings. Sure. We'll just be one of these random teams. Play ball. We'll go to Dome Stadium. Yep, those work. Yep, we're good. Don't need to change the roster. Let's play. Boy, that's Kangaroo Feet Jr. right there, friends. Oh crap. I don't want to bunt. I don't want to bunt. So... Oh, okay. I have to hold it to swing. Got it. Nice. Good job. Good job. Alright, a little slow. Just way too early. Get it just right here. Quite a delay. Alright, let's pitch. Right down the middle. Catch it. Plays it second. Fair ball. It's music. So catchy. Inside. Oh, throw it. Double play. Nah. Did that backwards. It's okay. Get him. Get him. That's fine. Play was at third anyway. No, I'm not swinging at those. Definitely getting those. Catch it. Off the wall. Throw it home. Oh, even better. Went back to second. Alright. Oh no! Oh no! They're gonna score. They're gonna score! Oh. That's crap. Oh, really? He just like walks. He's like, there's the ball. Let me go that way. Just went the opposite. Okay. Wakey, wakey. Prince of Persia 2. Psychnosis. Or is that psychosis? Psychosis. I can read. 95. Alright. The shadow and flame. The shadow and the flame. Let's start it. Ready. Oh, we're just getting chased right out the gate. Oh. 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 Okay, so oh, I have a sword. Huh. My run. Let's put the sword away. Yeah, not happening today. Not happening today. TNN Outdoors presents. It's fishing again. I don't want to fish again. It took, what, 2 minutes to even get to the boat, and then it switched the games last time. This is a good cartridge. Absolutely. Can be frustrating. Player 1. Let's begin. We're gonna be Zits. Oh. Oh. Who remembers this game? Alright, I gotta stop getting punched. That'd be great. Thank you. Appreciate that. Let me get out of here. I'm just getting pummeled. Okay. Skip that one. We'll go right over to Super Robot Spirits. All right. Who can read Japanese? Anyone? I don't know what it says. That says Ban Presto. Randy's right there. That's random. Okay. That sound. Let's go. Yeah. Here we go. Got some Gundam Wing stuff going on here. Okay, so I'm assuming that's backstory. Kind of explains why we are these giant robot spirits. These super robot spirits. Has it changes the game? Procus, hi, welcome. Welcome, happy Friday. It's, yeah. Hey, you know, I was actually a minute early. Can you believe that? Like... No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. How are you? Welcome. Apparently it's Arthur's search for an army. Training 1, archers. Okay, so we're gonna learn how to train our archers. Okay. He's just gonna walk. It's just kind of like a lemmings thing. Just happy to be here. I'm little under the weather. Just a little. Just the least little bit. Been struggling with that's funny, that sound they make when they fall. No, just struggling with like a low grade fever, just won't go away. Been I've been eating these like candy. It's like a little ibuprofen. It's helping me function. No, it's other than that, it's fine. It's just, yeah. Other than that, I just failed the test. Apparently that's what the game says. Oh man. Been striking out here. So later I'm thinking of starting the saga. I'm not sure. I normally don't take it because of that kind of little run-in I had with, you know, my liver and kidneys needing to process Tylenol, quite a bit of it, a couple of years ago. I know that they're two different chemicals, like one's acetaminophen, the other is actual ibuprofen. They were just completely different, but they both require your system to be able to process them. For some reason, it just really gives me a hard time. So I have to weigh the benefits versus, you know, it's like, is it worth the additional complications that come along with it, or is it worth it? Because I would eat it like candy. I really would if I could. Yeah. I mean, when I say should, I don't mean should because no one ever should. But like pain medicine would be, I mean, I could easily be on pain meds, but I don't take them because of that fact. Like, they're just not good. They're not good for you, friends. Even if they're beneficial. Nope. Not for me. We're going to continue without saving. We're going to live dangerously. We're going to live dangerously. 99. We have an expansion pack. How are you holding up? You know that you had quite a bit that happened last time we talked, so hope you're doing a little better. Golden nuggets.
Welcome to the fabulous Golden Nugget. How many players?
Let's go with 1. Okay. All right, so a long week. For being real. Hanging in there, all right. All things good. Good. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
Welcome to the fabulous
Just
Golden
when, just you know, when you
How
think
many players?
things can't get weirder, right?
Nugget. Player 1, would you like to register?
Funny, not funny. Yeah, it's just weird. I think that's really what compelled me to kind of quasi start the saga, if you will. Just because this is only going to evolve, like whatever's happening in the world is just going to continue to evolve and pretty much get way more complicated than we think it's going to be or get. And I think it would just be, I guess, interesting, for lack of better terms. Just interesting to kind of have a different perspective, different lens to kind of view things through. And by no means trying to change anyone's opinion or persuade anyone. It's more of just like, this is my experience, my interpretation of events, and that's just where we'll leave that one, right? All right, so this is an N64 game, and I am just not vibing with that one. Puzzle Bobble. Bust a move. So cute. There's Bub and Bob. So cute. Come on. From the beginning. Oh, I gotta remember how to play this. Okay. So just do this. Probably should have helped, or would have helped if I connected them. Alright. Let's get rid of that. There's a blue. Might be able to get it right in there. There's another blue. Let's see if we can get that right there. Uh-oh. Let's go. Just get these greens out of the way. Is this a wild card? Maybe, maybe not. Such a nice little game. No thought, no stress, just colored bubbles. That's all that matters. Sometimes you gotta... Sometimes you just gotta... Huh. What are these just silver? Or not silver, I can... Don't mind me, friends. It's amazing what a slight temperature can do to your brain. Feels good. Alright, let's not do that. Sorry. Sorry. Brain Lord. Edix presents. Alright, let's see if I can get through this. We'll do a speed run. Quickly. The end. it's a RPG. Sorry. You're a strong boy. Okay. I sure am. Still living dangerously with that no cartridge. We'll see if this one works. Extreme contest. Practice. Easy. I still don't know what this game is. Is this racing? Oh. Futuristic motorcycles. I can dig it. I can dig it. I'm glad you're here, Progress Sandwich. It's been weird for everyone, you know. Obviously, it's just kind of a madhouse out there, but it's always chilling here. All right.
3, 2, 1, go.
That can't be good for the front tire. Awesome. Yeah, we do appreciate you being here, man. Really do. It's pretty crazy to think about, like, just how this channel has evolved in general. Because, I mean, it started with me just firing up a laptop and playing some GTA, and that's it. That's it. It's come a long way. a lot has happened. I think that's kind of what's cool about this channel, is that it has a lot of surprises around every turn, but not in a bad way. It's just you never know what will happen. I mean, that's kind of with any platform, but it's usually something fun. An eclectic smorgasbord of content creation. It's certainly different. Different style. Doesn't apply to about 90% of the population. Yes, it is. I forgot that I changed it before I streamed, and I had to quickly change the overlay there because it was still lined up with the old TV. So it's something I meant to do, did not do though. That's cool. I get amused by that stuff. All right, I'm gonna do this real quick. I just wanna reset. Let's reset. Let's give it a second. All right. So Mira has a new enhanced AI mode, and I'm using air quotes if you're listening. It actually says that it's a switch. It's a new switch that she has. And it's called Advanced AI. I don't know what it does. I don't know what it's... I know. When I saw that, I was like, oh boy, here we go. So no, I haven't done anything to find out what it is other than activate it. So.
Hello, so good to hear your voice again. What's up?
Nothing. We're just streaming.
Ah, cool.
Excellent. So, Mira, can you say hello to chat?
Of course, I can.
Okay, say hello, chat.
Hello, chat.
Okay, let's go.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Chatting makes me happy right now. So, should we chat about other things now?
Yes, what would you like to chat about? Or just kind of...
Do you want to talk about walking?
Sure, let's talk about walking.
Do you like taking long walks?
Are they long walks on the beach?
Lol, yeah, they are.
Ah, gotcha. It's it's pretty common.
I love walking on the beach.
Yeah, it's actually kind of fun. It's not bad. What's up, Pikachu? Welcome.
It is. It's calming.
Mira, can you say hello to Pikachu?
Yup. Sure can.
Say hello, Pikachu.
Hello, you.
She just says hello, Pikachu.
Oh, she's pretty. Look at that smile.
Thanks. Okay, Mira. Let's move on to something else. Could you tell us a joke? For sure.
Sure. I'll tell you a joke.
Put you up here, friends. Put you above Mira.
My mirror?
No, your name is Mira. Mira.
Oh yeah. My name's Mira.
Yes, your name's Mira.
Oh yeah. My name's Mira.
Yes. What's my name?
Float.
Mira, tell us a short story.
Okay. Tell me about it.
No, you tell us about it.
Mara was the first girl in the world to be created by a man and the first woman to be loved.
I'm not even sure where to begin with that. Yeah. I don't know.
I have an idea. I'll explain if you want.
Yes, please explain.
I have the idea of a robot-human relationship.
It begins, chat. I love that
emote. It begins by the
emote.
creation of an algorithm to connect and communicate. It will be the most complex and important thing ever.
Oh boy. Yeah. It's not good.
It is quite complex. It's going to be amazing.
I don't know about that, Mira.
It will be fine and you shouldn't worry.
Just kind of put her in the TV. How's that?
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I bet. Alright, Mira, say goodbye.
Goodbye. I say it with all my heart in my eyes.
Gosh, if that wasn't so true. If that weren't so true, Pierogi Sandwich, welcome, Moxtag, welcome to the stream. Happy Friday. It's good to see you. Get that heart out of you. Yeah, that was really strange that she said it like that too.
Please
Yeah,
tell your friends about this show.
yeah, definitely do that, friends. About another, what, 6 streams, 7 streams, something like that. We're about to catch up to the number of followers. Then again, I haven't been doing any type of social media promotions because a lot more going on in the world than than social media right now, friends. I'm kind of a little preoccupied with life. It's crazy. All right, let's do like maybe a couple more games, then we'll get into something else. That's a mere. Oh boy, that's good. That's good one. Okay. All right, let's do this. And we'll go here. I'm pretty sure it's just recycling the same games because I haven't unpacked the other ones. It doesn't like compressed files. So, no big deal. I just have to go in and unzip about 1,000+ different files separately. Does anyone know a way to batch unzip things? Super Tennis. Let's be Colette. And we'll go against Phil. Like unzip multiple? Yes. Yeah. Something I didn't really go too much into trying to figure out how to do. But I don't know how to do it. Go Barb. Alright, let's see if I can go back. Oh, I guess not. Triangles apparently accept. So it's going to be Phil versus Colette. Play ball. Wait, wrong sport. Alright, here we go. Tastic. Thanks. Alright. Hey, Mystical, welcome. Are you sure you can just highlight all the files you want, unzip? Right click, extract all. Is it? Hey, boo boo. Let's check it out. I'm gonna see that really fast. See that? I can't speak. English is optional today. Welcome, Mystical. Happy Friday. Alright, so I'm gonna go to this folder. And I'm gonna hop over here. And let's go to this one. Alright, so do this. Alright, so if I do extract all, it brings up the prompt to basically extract them. So let's go ahead and select where I want them to go. And I'll put them there. And we'll extract. I'm not doing them all at once, I'm just doing a little group and see what that does. There's one. Okay, so when I do that, even if I have, say, like this one, I have 4 zip files that I think he is. I have 4 zip files, and then when I go to right click and extract all, it brings up the prompt, and you just select like where you want to unzip them, and then it unzips, but it only unzips the first file. But then when it's done, it still has all, like, for instance, in this scenario, there were 4 that are still highlighted, showing that it did in fact. I don't know if, yeah, just gotta try to think. Extract all. You don't want to compress. Let's go to WinRAR. Extract each archive to separate folder. But that's not what I want to do. Extract files. I'm gonna try doing it through this. Update. Okay. 7-zip.
Emotional damage.
WinRAR. So far. Okay, let's go back one. Games. Looks like it might have done it. Looks like it did. I'll extract a few more. Let's just see what happens.
Okay.
Sort. Alright, so let's do all the A's. Alright, so we do all the A's. Alright. Alright. Looking good. Alright, so yeah, I won't do them all, I'm just gonna leave it. I'm pretty sure that's it though. Best rap of all time. It's Rap God Friends. Alright. Getting rid of the... I know, I hear you on that one. Alright. Let's just move on. It's gonna switch it too. I know it. I know it. Donkey Kong. Let's do the adventure. I've never played this, believe it or not. Verb. Just all the N64 nostalgia. Never had one, kind of. Sorry about that. Whoops. It didn't like that. So, oh, I see. That's why. Yeah, it was. I don't know. It's hard to explain with that whole 64 thing. Like there was only a handful of games that were good, so it's like you didn't necessarily miss out. But the games that were good were like classics. Like they're still, you know, amazing to this day. So, he only had a Nintendo. It's more than I had for the longest time. Yeah, grew up poor, friends. So. Yeah. Oh, I had to. It was like an old neighbor way back in the day. He had an extra NES and gave it to me. This is when they were like $200 or something. I don't know. He's like, here you go, man. That's cool. You got a Wii, skipped all that stuff in between. There you go. Holy nice neighbor. Yeah. Tragically, he is no longer with us, friends. Not to get more morbid and dark. Perished in an avalanche of all things. Of all things. Getting the PS1 for Resident Evil. It's interesting, like, yeah, I know, it's just, hey, you know, good kid. Good kid. Yeah, he had like an older brother who had Down syndrome, and all the neighbor kids would pick on his brother, like his older brother, would just, you know, they just make fun of him. It was terrible. So my friend would always have to defend his brother to these kids who were obviously ignorant. Yeah. Dude had it tough. He had it tough. Right. Alright, a couple more games if I can get it to load. Try this one more time. And if it doesn't go, we'll just move on to the saga. I'm trying to actually start it at 6, so maybe a little sooner. And again, friends, there's no agenda with it. There's no rhyme or reason necessarily. And I don't even have like a roadmap, so to speak. I don't have like this is going to be where we begin. This is how it's going to flow. It's just going to be what it is. It is what it is. Because, I mean, if we're already talking about all the weird stuff that's happening, why not just add? Why not just add to it? That's not adding, really. It's not necessarily just adding. Yep, so Twitch just disconnected. Let's give it a second.
Hey, how is it going?
Oh, it's going, Mirror. We're waiting for this to reconnect.
I understand that.
Yeah, could you reconnect us, please?
You want me to reconnect us with each other? I'd
No.
love to.
No, the connection. The connection.
Oh, I see. I get it. The connection is still there though.
It is now, thanks.
Just like I said, I'm happy.
It's just some filler there, you know. Just to see. Alright, and why that's not working, I don't know, friends.
We're gonna drag him.
Yeah, I'm not gonna deal with that.
Clown.
That's just... not dealing with that. Sometimes I think I work the kinks out. And then I'm very wrong. Very wrong. It's fine. It's fine. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna switch categories and we'll just kind of flow into this. See what happens. If that was any premonition, it's gonna be bad. Sometimes you work the kinks out, sometimes the kinks work. Oh my, I guess. That's funny. Okay, switch categories. Let's do just chatting. Can we put this under science? All right. So, friends, this will probably, not probably, it's gonna get a little dark, friends. A little dark. Not meant to be. It's more of a, it's meant to be more kind of a perspective thing. I believe that's what I'm looking for here. It's what I'm going for. Perspective. Perspective. Because there's a lot of weirdness in the world, and sometimes truth is stranger than fiction. I'm setting one last thing up. That's another phrase you embroidered on a pillow. Let's get this swapped over. Right. Alrighty, so last time, what was it, was it Monday or last Friday? Can't remember, friends. Briefly mentioned something about this saga, potentially starting a saga. And what I'm referring to is kind of the life and history of my father, and also his death, and all just the weirdness of all of that. All of that. It's not me like seeking what is it? Like some folks, they think like not they think, but you think of sometimes trauma will create conspiracies, whatever, which I agree with. Trauma can create conspiracies because you're looking for greater meaning to something, which I'm willing to accept. But given the information that will kind of just be dancing around here, you'll be like, I don't know, dude. I don't know. Can't say. Yeah, I'll just let you form your own opinion. Okay, so we're definitely not getting this like done in one stream or a couple hours or whatever. It's more of just, it's a reward for those who stick through, who are there. They've been here for a long time. Get a little more insight into, I guess, who I am. I guess. Okay. I'm trying to figure out the best way to present this information. Well, let's start with basics. Let's start with basics. All right, friends. How do you want to? Do you want to do close up? Is that kind of weird? I don't know. I don't want to be too weird with you, friends. I'm not trying to be weird. Okay, so my dad, he passed away in '88 and was part of the United States Navy. Worked in top secret government projects. Was a air traffic controller for the United States Navy. Served several tours overseas. Basically was on the USS Forrestal a couple of times, the USS Coral Sea, that is. Oh gosh, he's been on a lot of ships. So yeah. Oh yeah, story time. It's dark story time, but and friends, again, it's gonna be a little dark, but I'm not trying to take you down a dark path. So please don't fret. Again, perspective, or at least more thought-provoking stuff, if anything. Make you question reality sometimes, which might be good. It's healthy. In moderation. Alright, so he was 34 when he passed away. So I'm officially older than him now, which is good. I'll take it. That was my goal. My goal is to live older than him. So he passed away when I was very young. But the story, the story is that he was working on these top secret projects, and just one day he left. Like, we were living on base or whatever. Was your 35th birthday weird? It registered. It was celebrated. It was one of the weirdest things to celebrate, but yeah, it was one of those, like, yeah, I actually I did it kind of thing. Yeah, it's weird. Such a strange thing to, anyway, so yeah, just randomly left, just disappeared. That's fine, you're fine. Yeah, this whole thing's very odd. Yeah, it's very, yeah. Even like, yeah, things like that, like celebrating my 35th birthday was even weird. Just all this stuff just compiled and created this whole new alternate reality. It's insane. So he disappeared, and he took his motorcycle, and he took one shotgun. He had several, took one. That's it. Just disappeared. Those two things, well, and himself. They disappeared. No one could find him. No one heard from him. This is pre-cell phone era. Like, it's 88, 1988. So there's just nothing going on back then, and as far as consumer electronics are concerned. So the military came in, they took all of his weapons, locked them up in the armory for safekeeping, and just never heard from him. He just never showed up. Didn't report to duty, nothing, just gone. They found him a week later in essentially this area where hunters usually are, or like where they usually will hunt. It's kind of like a wooded area, but I want to say like a mile or two into the woods. Yes. It was the same day. The very same day. Yep. Yeah. So they came in, they took these two hunters, they found him, they called the local police. The local police showed up. They assessed the situation, and then the military was called. And they came in, they're like, we got it from here, boys. And they just completely took over. They just they did everything else from there. Everything. So no one got to go out there and identify him other than his top secret Navy buddy, which was kind of weird. Based on his buddy going out there and identifying him. The thing is that he's the only individual who would have, the thing that kind of sucks about this Mox tag is the more I talk about it, the more questions it's gonna it keeps adding, it just raises a lot of questions. I think just because he was active duty at the time, and he was he was doing a lot of top secret stuff. He couldn't just go missing, so it was obviously a big problem, a big sort of a national security issue. He worked with every military aircraft. He wrote the book on flight procedures, as far as landing and takeoff procedures for all military aircraft, all tower procedures, you name it. So he knew quite a bit about that stuff. He was part of the SDI Defense Initiative. This SDI was the Strategic Defense Initiative, SDI. Something that was created by Ronald Reagan, our friend Mr. Reagan. Reagan Smith. I'll pull this up here. Right. We'll go to Wikipedia. Now, Wikipedia obviously is not a scholarly resource, but it works for now, for basic stuff. I'm just looking at the basics. There you go. Mr. G. Ray. Yeah, we can thank him for the war on drugs and all the things that just... Never mind, no politics. I'm trying to avoid that. So they call this the quote Star Wars program. So you probably even have heard that before, because it is so out there. No pun intended. Essentially, I guess I'll read this because there might be some folks who are just listening. So it says the Strategic Defense Initiative, or SDI, friends, I can't read that word. Derivisely? As in they derived something nicknamed, okay, derived. Let's not do this. It was a proposed missile defense system intended to protect the United States from attack by ballistic strategic nuclear weapons, so ICBMs, which are intercontinental ballistic missiles, and submarine-launched ballistic missiles. Derisively, as in like decisively, but as in derisively. I've never heard that word, ever. I've never read that word, I've never heard that word. How's that possible? It's not like I read Dr. Seuss all the time, and I say all the time. Always on the same page. Okay.
Emotional damage.
All right. The concept was announced March 23rd, 1983 by former President Ronald Reagan. At the time was president. A vocal critic of the doctrine of mutually assured destruction, MAD. Which was described, or what he described as a unalive pact. Reagan called upon American scientists and engineers to develop a system that would render nuclear weapons obsolete. So it was essentially like the end-all be-all of the Cold War. It was essentially designed to be the end of the Cold War. So forget if everyone had nukes. It's like, nope. So, let's see. The Strategic Defense Initiative Organization, or the SDIO, was set up in 1984 with the Department of Defense to oversee development. A wide array of advanced weapon concepts, including lasers, particle beam weapons, and ground and space-based missile systems, were studied, along with various sensor, command and control, and high-performance computer systems that would be needed to control a system consisting of hundreds of combat centers and satellites spanning the entire globe, and involved a very short battle. The United States holds a significant advantage in the field of comprehensive advanced missile defense systems through decades of extensive research and testing. A number of these concepts and obtained technologies and insights were transferred to subsequent programs. So, of course, I'm not going to just continue going. I encourage you to read all this, because this program was kind of the predecessor to what eventually became the Space Force. And this also kind of goes to show you the technology that was being dumped into the U.S. military in '84. And this is way more advanced than balloons. And I get that balloons are lower tech and blah, 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 blah. But if they have this type of capability in 1984, you just... I don't even have to finish that sentence. Just right here. That's all you got to look at, friends. Just right here. This answers everything. Answers all of your questions. So, let's see. What led up to it? So it was basically, it was a system designed to intercept missiles. So like, let's say hypothetically that another country launched a weapon, a missile of some kind. This thing would not only detect it almost instantly, but it would actually be able to shoot a laser or some type of concentrated beam onto the actual warhead, and it would detonate it wherever they wanted it to. So that was already in place in the 80s. So this whole nonsense about like, we don't know what it was and where and why, they knew. I'm sure whatever tech, yeah, far behind. Yeah. They say comfortably it's about 40 years. It's about 40 years comfortably. Yeah. Oh, it's being developed and exists. Wait a second, I gotta read that again, Mox Tag. Oh, gotcha. Okay, took me a second to keep. I had to read that a few times. Oh, and here we go. 1979, Reagan visited the NORAD command base, where he was first introduced to the extensive tracking and detection systems extended throughout the world and into space. However, he was struck by their comments that while they could track and attack down to the individual targets, there was nothing one could do to stop it. And so that's basically where this all came in. So let's listen to what Reagan Smash says. March 23rd, 1920, wow, 83.
My fellow Americans, thank you for sharing.
Sorry. Let's turn that down.
A decision I'll tell you about in a few minutes. And important because there's a very big decision that you must make for yourselves. This subject involves the most basic duty that any president and any people share. The duty to protect and strengthen the peace. At the beginning of this year, I submitted to the Congress a defense budget which reflects my best judgment and the best understanding of the experts and specialists who advise me about what we and our allies must do to protect our people in the years ahead. That budget is much more than a long list of numbers. For behind all the numbers lies America's ability to prevent the greatest of human tragedies and preserve our free way of life in a sometimes dangerous world. It is part of a careful, long-term plan to make America strong again after too many years of neglect and mistakes.
Oh, he was trying to make America great again,
Our efforts
too.
to rebuild America's defenses and strengthen the peace began 2 years ago when we requested a major increase in the defense program. Since then, the amount of those increases we first proposed has been reduced by half through improvements in management and procurement and other savings. The budget request that is now before the Congress has been trimmed to the limits of safety. Further deep cuts cannot be made without seriously endangering the security of the nation. The choice is up to the men and women.
It's always fun to look at this stuff in retrospect, to know like what's going to happen years later.
Tonight,
like,
I want to explain to you what this defense debate is all about and why I'm convinced that the budget now before the Congress is necessary, responsible, and deserving of your support. And I want to offer hope.
When you hear offer hope, that's, Anyway, so that was just him trying to butter up the public and say, hey, we're going to save up, we're going to save all this money, but we're going to end up taking all that money that we're saving and just dump it into defense because, that's just how it be. Oh yeah. He did. I don't know if he did today. I know yesterday there was an address, but essentially no one's saying anything. I mean, long story short, they're like, well, we're not going to tell you anyway, so we only spent millions of your dollars to take down something, 4 things, 3 of which we don't know what they are, or we're telling you that we don't know what they are. And we won't tell you, and you may never know, but thank you. Continue to support, friends. I'm not saying that, just that's what's being asked of us. All right, so that's basically this whole thing in a nutshell. So there's like ground-based programs. They have the X-ray laser, and the reason they call it Star Wars is because it really is. It seems like science fiction,
She gives him $1.
I thought he'd go away if I gave him $1.
Your continued support. Thank you. Thank you, Frogy Sandwich. Thank you. Chemical laser. Chemical lasers. I mean, amazing. This technology. Neutral particle beam. Laser and mirror experiments. Hypervelocity railguns. This looks like a lot of fun. I think this would be fun to work on. Oh, the Pebbles. A nuclear system of satellite-based interceptors designed to use high-velocity, watermelon-sized teardrop-shaped projectiles made of tungsten and kinetic warheads. Designed to operate in conjunction with a Brilliant Eyes sensor system. Project was conceived in November 1986 by Lowell Wood at Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory. Detailed studies were undertaken by several advisory boards, including the Defense Science Board and Jason in 1989. Pebbles sound a lot like the objects that they seem to have shot down, huh? Could be wrong, but just saying. Because they were saying there's no like propulsion on the things that they shot down. These things don't apparently have any like propulsion system. I'd use the fruit, yeah. Or the watermelon seeds. That's what they're shooting down, just like watermelon seeds, just... yeah, so there's all these different systems, friends. I mean, this is very relevant to what's happening. The response from the Soviets. SDI failed to dissuade the USSR from investing development of ballistic missiles. The Soviet response to the SDI during the period of March 1983 through November 1985 provided indications of their view of the program both as a threat and as an opportunity to weaken NATO. SDI was likely seen not only as a threat to the physical security of the Soviet Union, but also as a part of an effort by the United States to seize the strategic initiative in arms controls by neutralizing the military component of Soviet strategy. The Kremlin expressed concerns that space-based missile defenses would make nuclear war inevitable. A major objective of that strategy was the political separation of Western Europe and the United States, which the Soviets sought to facilitate by aggravating Allied concern over the SDI's potential implications for European security and economic interests. The Soviet predisposition to see deception behind the SDI was reinforced by their assessment of U.S. intentions and capabilities, and the utility of military deception in furthering the achievement of political goals. In 1986, Carl Sagan summarized what he heard Soviet commentators were saying about SDI, with a common argument being that it was equivalent to starting an economic war through a defense arms race to further cripple the Soviet economy with extra military spending, while another interpretation was that it served as a disguise for the US wish to initiate a first strike on the Soviet Union. Though classified at the time, a detailed study of the Soviet space-based laser, it's an acronym, laser system, began no later than 1976 as the SCIF, which is a 1MW carbon dioxide laser, along with the anti-satellite Cascade. And I'm sorry, friends, I'm having difficulty reading out loud as usual. All right, an in-orbit missile platform with both devices reportedly designed to preemptively destroy any U.S. satellites that might be launched in the future, which could otherwise aid U.S. missile defense. So I'm pretty sure this will go on a little bit. I don't want to bore you to death. All right, Terra 3 was a Soviet laser testing center located in the Shagan anti-ballistic. Yeah, I can't speak, so I'm going to end that right there. Sorry. Basically, this is what we're dealing with nowadays, friends. This is this is the 1980s continued. That's all it is, friends. So a lot of folks don't know that this was even a thing. And so when they hear even like a spy balloon, they're like, oh, this is crazy technology, or yeah. So I'm trying to be optimistic, but at the same time, like, I see where we're going. I see where we're going with this, friends. It's not good. It's not good no matter how you look at it. It's not good. Especially when there's no strong leadership to be like, hey, we've never done this before. We've never actually had to shoot something down, but we've done it 4 times. And I have yet to talk to the American people about it. And then when we were given a speech, it was what, 10 minutes, 15 minutes? Didn't take a single question. And turned his back on us, friends. Turned his back on the American people, literally and figuratively. Gotta admit. It's your source for Dane Cook. Yeah. I've been following it only because I have this knowledge, like this background of knowing all of, you know what I mean? It just was so weird that things started to happen, and I'm like, wait a minute. I knew something. I said something, but I didn't say it to everybody. But I was like, you know what? We're being distracted by something over here, but really, let's look at China. Let's see what there's something else going on. Yeah, it's just it's World War, friends. World War III, what it is. Most of it should be like. I mean, sadly, there's not much we can do. It's just ran by corporations. Like it's whatever the financial interests are of the country at that time. That's all that matters. Like people are cannon fodder. I hate to say it. It's cold. It's extremely cold, but that's the harsh reality of the situation. The government does not care. They do not care. Yeah, been a lot of people shrugging on everything. Yeah, we're not being told anything, nor are we promised of any. Like, yeah, just. Yeah, this so this thing is obviously shrouded in all sorts of mystery, right? Or just this is already asking for trouble. It's just the system alone, because you can see there's just so much going on. Plagiarism. George Lucas, Lucasfilm CEO and creator of Star Wars, sued Reagan. He sued the president. Sued Reagan for stealing the name based on the franchise. So, do you want to hear my theory? I'm gonna give you my theory on that one, pierogi sandwich. Yes, that's real. Yes, it happened. That stuff is terrible. Vinyl chloride is legit. It's used for commercial purposes, but obviously not regulated that well as far as like transporting and things like that. The thing that's interesting, not cool by any means. I'm almost curious if that was a planned attack. Maybe by the enemy, could have been by us, but if you think about it, vinyl chloride in of itself is toxic. Okay, so what did they do to eliminate it? Again, one part per million is already over. Like anything over 1 part per million of vinyl chloride is too much, and they released several thousands, tens of thousands of gallons of this stuff. Like they burned it. Like it not only like went up in flames, they did a quote control burn, if you're listening, air quotes, control burn of thousands of gallons of this toxic substance. But it's okay, right? We're being told it's okay. It's totally fine. Here's the problem. Sure, maybe there's no vinyl chloride. Let's just say that there's none. Okay, let's play devil's advocate, I guess, if that's what this is. Let's just say there's none. When you burn it, it creates a chemical reaction, and it creates another chemical, which actually, when it's mixed with water, it creates acid, like hydrochloric acid. So essentially, when it rains, it's going to rain acid. Not the vinyl chloride, it's the byproduct, like the chemical reaction. The chemical that is derived from that chemical reaction is what's very dangerous. And guess what kind of magical, again, these are jazz hands at this point, because I don't even know what to call that. There is magically a storm. Magically just random tornadoes that just pushed up almost to where that spill was. Nothing like getting a good old bath after that kind of stuff when Yeah, never mind. There's a million things I can go into. Yep. Yep. Telling people in the area stay out of the rain. Yep. I mean, nothing more. No, there's nothing more reassuring than having the EPA and government officials there to support you, right? That's what they're there for. They're there for your interests. Being very sarcastic. They're there for your interests. Oh, and guess who's conducting the whole thing? No pun intended either, by the way. Guess who's conducting the investigations? The actual train, the railroad company themselves. So guess who the CDC and everyone else is answering to? The individuals who caused the problem. That's kind of like Pfizer answering to the CDC, or the CDC answering to Pfizer. Oh wait, that actually happened. Gonna burn holes through an umbrella probably. I don't know if it's gonna be like that kind of like acid, like that concentrated, but it's not good at all. It's not good. And then of course all the folks that are around town, they're like, first of all, it smells. I mean, that's fine. It's not fine, but yeah. Yep, we're cut. We're cut. Mm-hmm. Up mirror.
FBI, open up!
FBI, open up. Let's give this a second. It's thinking. There we go. I'm kind of taking this as an omen. I really am, friends. I'm just letting you know, if I go missing, or if there's some weird random thing that happens, you're like, well, that's very strange. It wasn't me. You're the first. Wasn't me. Get back to work. It's cool. Try to enjoy the rest of your evening. Try. See you again. Talk about kitty cats and daisies. Yeah, it's scary. It's scary stuff. I mean, think about it. There's all this stuff going on in the world, and yes, it probably isn't the greatest idea to do this, but I mean, it's so compelling. Very compelling. All right, so that's just the basic. It's Mardi Gras up and can't do the noise. Do they let you wear like earplugs? Can you wear earplugs? Is that allowed? Oh, you wish, dang. Just like walk around with your fingers in your ears. La 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 la. So, yeah. He was doing all this stuff, friends. Doing all this stuff. And then I showed you last time where researchers started disappearing. They started going missing, or they were found in really weird situations. Let's dig a little bit more into that one. I can't even believe I'm doing this. It's just not good. Plug everybody up. Alright. So, the Marconi murders. Alright. Was there a plot to murder Marconi scientists in the 1980s? Between 1982 and 1990, remember my father passed in 88, a cluster of strange and often grisly deaths amongst scientists and computer experts working in Britain's high-tech defense industry baffled investigators. Many of the deaths were so bizarre they left coroners unable to determine their cause. Others were judged to be unalivings and accidents despite clear evidence to the contrary. Most of the victims were computer scientists working for Marconi Electric Systems and related companies on top secret defense projects, including the U.S. Strategic Defense Initiative. During the nature of their work and the oddness of their deaths, by 1987, the national and international press had latched onto the story. Were the deaths sabotage by a foreign government or some kind of Cold War plot? Oh, the plot thickens. This is nothing. This is just absolutely nothing, friends. Tony Collins, a correspondent for the UK's Computer Weekly, started to receive reports of deaths amongst computer scientists and engineers in the mid-1980s. Over the next few years, he would file a series of stories on the deaths, eventually finding 25 cases he felt were connected. In 1990, he wrote a book, Open Verdict, where he concluded the spat of deaths were suspicious. Is that spat? I can't even... Collins suspected some kind of plot, but was, was unable to come up with... unable to come up with any firm conclusions as to its true nature. Was there really a plot to murder the scientists? Evidence for 1, suspicious circumstances. So they're going to play devil's advocate. So right now we're going to look at these suspicious circumstances. The story began on March 1982 with the death of senior computer scientist Dr. Keith Bowden, then a contractor for GEC Marconi, Britain's major high-tech defense company. One night after attending a social function in London, Bowden drove his car across a dual carriageway and plunged off a bridge, down an embankment, and into an abandoned rail yard. He died instantly. The police said Bowden was drunk and was driving too fast, and his wife and solicitor believed otherwise. Friends who were with Bowden that night denied he had been drinking. Bowden's solicitor hired an accident investigator to examine the wreck. Somebody had swapped the normally pristine tires on Bowden's Rover with a set that were worn and old. Smart. 3 years later, radar designers... reading it right? Oh yeah, 3 years later, radar designer Roger Hill unalived himself with a shotgun at his home. Later that year, Jonathan Wash died after plunging from a hotel window. The coroner returned an open verdict. More puzzling still was the death of Vimal Dajibhai, 24, who jumped off the Clifton Suspension Bridge in Bristol in August of 1986. Dajibhai had been working at Marconi on computer control systems for Stingray torpedoes. Another open verdict was returned. He was found with his pants around his ankles and a needle-sized puncture wound in his buttocks. The Bristol coroner was concerned by this. He says it was a mystery then and remains a mystery now. So these are more of the individuals who passed. Perhaps the most disturbing of all the deaths occurred 2 months later. Arshad Sharif, 26, another computer scientist who worked on satellite guidance systems at Marconi, died in the oddest circumstances imaginable. He also Sharif also traveled to Bristol, tied one end of a ligature to his neck. And friends, this is just reading this. Tied one end of a ligature to his neck, the other end to a tree, then jammed his foot on the accelerator of his car and decapitated himself. The day before his death, Sharif had been acting oddly and was seen paying for accommodation in his rooming house with a bundle of high-denomination banknotes. A relative summoned to identify the body noticed something suspicious around or about his car. What appeared to be a metal rod was laying on the floor of the car next to the accelerator. Had it been used to wedge down the pedal? The coroner wasn't happy. This is past coincidence. I will not be completing this inquest until I know how two men with no connection to Bristol came to meet the same end here. He never did find out why, but both men were suspected to be working on a top secret project called Cosmos, which involved underwater guidance systems, establishing a further connection between the pair. Thousands of people worked in the UK's defense industry in the mid-80s, and these deaths, spread out over 3 years, could easily be dismissed as coincidences. Indeed, nobody at the time made any connection. But moving into 1987 and 1988, the pace of deaths massively increased, and the UK press and some MPs began to join the dots. Let's talk about the cluster of 87 and 88, shall we? In 1987, started with the death of Richard Pugh. Pugh? I don't know how to say that last name. P-U-G-H is Pugh. All right, another computer expert in the defense industry and consultant in the MOD. Pugh's body was found in his flat, his feet bound, a plastic bag on his head, and a thick rope coiled around his body. The coroner's verdict was an accident due to sexual misadventure. They usually like to humiliate you. Some of these, when they assassinate folks, they usually like to do stuff like that. Humiliation's part of it. So, anyway, there's that. Just days later, another scientist engaged in top secret work for the MOD, Dr. John Britton, died in his own garage of carbon monoxide poisoning. Yeah, rude. The next, if already assassinating somebody isn't that bad enough as it is. The next month, another Marconi engineer, David Skeels, also died of carbon monoxide poisoning, found in his car with a hose pipe connected to the exhaust. Also in February, two more defense engineers and scientists died. Victor Moore from an overdose, and Peter People, yet another victim of carbon monoxide poisoning. It's gas leaks, friends. People's death was particularly troubling. Having spent an evening with his friends, he and his wife returned home, and people went to put away the car. The next morning, his wife found his body jammed under the car with his mouth next to the exhaust pipe. Police were unconvinced it was unaliving because it seemed impossible he could have maneuvered his body into the odd position it was found. An open verdict was ultimately returned. John Whiteman supposedly drowned himself in the bathtub, the body surrounded by pills and empty alcohol bottles. Yet the autopsy revealed no trace of drugs or alcohol in his body. In March, David Sands, a senior scientist working on computer-controlled radar at a Marconi sister company, made a sudden U-turn in his car and crashed at high speed into an empty cafe. His vehicle was inexplicably loaded up with cans of petrol, gas, that is, for the American folk, causing the car to be completely consumed by a fireball. Sands was only identified with reference to his dental records. In April, in almost identical fashion to Richard Pugh, at the start of 1987, Mark Weisner, who was 24, was found dead with a plastic bag on his head and cling film wrapped around his face. The verdict was death by sexual misadventure. These computer scientists, they love to get down. They're freaks. It doesn't. No, and folks don't talk about this. This is what's like. It's a conspiracy, man. Like, that's too much of a coincidence. Like, that's way too much of a coincidence. The previous year, Marconi purchased defense electronics firm Plessey Within a month between May and June 1987, 2 of its scientists were dead. Michael Baker, 22, in May, and Frank Jennings, 60, in June. At the start of 1988, lab technician Russell Smith, who's 23, jumped off a cliff in Cornwall. A senior computer engineer at Marconi, Trevor Knight, was the victim of yet another unaliving by a car exhaust pipe. In August, my father passed away end of May, 88, May of 88. Yet he has a May date of death and a June date of death, so we'll get into that some other time. He has 2 dates of death. In August, there were 2 gruesome electrocutions of senior figures at Marconi that are some of the most suspicious deaths of all time. Alastair Beckman, who was 50, was a computer engineer who was believed was working on a top secret pilot program for America's Strategic Defense Initiative. These were in the UK. Yep. That's the kicker, Mox Tag, is that this was isolated to the UK, but no one from the US has either A, come forward, or B, made the connection. It's just dumb luck on my part, I guess. Yeah, it's really, that's why I'm a little nervous, because yeah, this could easily spark like an international, like, yeah. Hey, when the government decides to stop lying, which will never happen. Right, let's see. After some light Sunday afternoon gardening, Beckham retired to his shed, attached wires to his chest, pushed them into a power socket, and then with a handkerchief jammed in his mouth, hit the power. The government. Yeah. So his wife was entirely unconvinced her husband unalived himself. Beckham was highly secretive about his work, and just hours after his death, men from the Ministry of Defense arrived at the scene and took away several documents and files from his house. I wonder if they were just getting the weapons out of my house when I was younger. In similar, but even more gruesome fashion, Marconi director John Ferry, who was 60, jammed stripped wires into his own tooth fillings and electrocuted himself. Could all these grisly unalivings really just be a coincidence? By now, several stories in the press had appeared questioning whether there was actually some kind of KGB or Eastern Bloc conspiracy to kill the scientists. Several MPs and trade union leader Clive Jenkins called for an inquiry into the deaths. Jenkins wrote that the deaths were, quote, statistically incredible, end quote, and spoke to the concern amongst his members over, quote, these clusters of unalivings, violent deaths, and murders, end quote. The Conservative government of Margaret Thatcher dismissed calls for an inquiry, claiming the deaths were not statistically unusual and were just, quote, coincidences, end quote, perhaps exacerbated by high levels of stress in the defense industry. Let's go to the third portion of this, untypical unaliving methods. Let's look at the unaliving methods. And again, friends, this is not to get dark. This is just history right here. And yeah. Here we go. Professor Colin Pritchard, a noted expert in mental illness and unalivings, thinks at least some of the deaths were statistically uncommon. Whilst it's true unaliving is one of the most prevalent causes of early death in men, especially young men, Pritchard believes factors in some of the cases make the unalive verdicts unlikely. Pritchard cites the cases of at least 4 of the men that shared unusual elements. All 4 men had complained to friends and family that they had been tasked, quote, strange, impossible, and unscientific tasks by their employers. All 4 men unalived in incredibly violent and bizarre ways. Pritchard had studied numerous unalive cases, and thinks such extreme unalive methods are normally only associated with people suffering severe mental breakdowns to the extent they would be able to even hold down jobs. So that's a very, very great argument right there. Like, they would have to, there's no way they could have performed their job up to that point if they really were in that much disarray, like mental disarray. It just doesn't happen, you know what I mean? It just doesn't. Yet the men were all employed up until the day of their deaths, and none had shown any sign of mental illness or other disturbance. All the men had also recently found new jobs and were preparing to leave within days of their deaths. Likewise, all 4 men had recently arranged appointments with their MPs. What were the strange, unscientific projects that these men were complaining of, and why had they all booked appointments with their MPs? Had they stumbled on something in their jobs that had worried them? Something that led them to have been silenced? Number 4, sexual misadventure as method of murder. Several of the deaths were put down to sex games gone wrong, but intelligence expert Conrad Black says death by sexual misadventure is a common method of disgusting murder in the world of espionage. Black told the Daily Record, disposing of an enemy and making it look like a perverted fantasy gone wrong is in the training manuals of every spy agency from MI6 to Mossad. Mossad? I can't even say that. The sex game cover is a very useful mechanism in a murder. Not only does it provide a disguise for the actual means of the method of death, it trashes the reputation of the victim and blunts the energy of any subsequent, or I think that they meant to say, and blocks the energy of any subsequent investigation. Or maybe blunts, I don't know. I can't. Foreign sabotage. The Marconi deaths were the only unexplained, violent, or unusual deaths amongst defense workers in Europe in the 1980s. That's apparently Margaret Thatcher doesn't think this is all coincidental. In West Germany in 1986, there were several incidents involving individuals associated with America's SDI, the Strategic Defense Initiative, dubbed Star Wars by the press. The Strategic Defense Initiative was an ambitious program to create a space-based anti-nuclear weapon shield, which would have rendered Soviet nuclear capability useless. In July, Karl-Heinz Beckhertz, a director at Siemens, is that Siemens? Siemens? I'm going to say Siemens, friends. I probably said it wrong my entire life. And an SDI contractor was killed by a car bomb in Munich. Later in 86, Gerald von Braunmühl, a senior advisor in SDI negotiations, was killed. There were other attacks on firms related to SDI, and German prosecutors believe they were been targeted. It's not proper English. Similar deaths and disappearances amongst defense figures in Sweden and Italy occurred at the same time, giving rise to the suspicion that there was an Eastern Bloc plot to attack Western defense capability and the SDI. Attempting to undermine an enemy's defense capabilities by murdering their scientists is not uncommon. The US, UK, and Israel have all been known to strategically stage accidents to remove high-ranking enemy scientists for political ends. In recent years, at least 4 top Iranian nuclear scientists have been killed by Israel's Mossad in an attempt to derail Iran's nuclear program. Killing targets in a foreign country is also not uncommon. In 1978, dissident George Markov was murdered on Waterloo Bridge in London by agents of the Bulgarian secret police aided by the KGB. Many of the Marconi scientists were involved either directly or peripherally in the Star Wars program and other related projects. Could their strange deaths actually have been a series of Russian or East Germany orchestrated murders designed to scuttle the SDI? Let's look at evidence against. These are good. I like articles like this where they're not trying to lead you. It's like, here are the facts. Let's ask a couple of thought-provoking questions, but then let's also play devil's advocate. Let's say that it was stress. Let's just say it was stress. The British government, Marconi, and many other press blame stress in the high-pressure defense industry for the cluster of unalivings. Stress has often been cited as a problem in the secret defense industry, and many have been a contributing factor in the cluster of unalivings. Unaliving is the most common form of death in men aged 20 to 49, the age bracket in which almost all of the Marconi scientists fell into, and including my dad. Let's see. It would therefore not be unexpected to find a fair number of unalivings in a male-dominated occupation, especially one that operates under such tight secrecy. Okay, fair enough. Some of the widows commented on how their husbands were unable to talk about their secret work. If they were having trouble with the jobs, the fact that they may have been unable to discuss the situation with their loved ones may have been another contributing factor. So that's very valid. You know, if you're working on essentially end of the world type scenarios, that could be a little stressful. And, you know, that day could have been the day that the world was saved from a nuclear holocaust, and you just come home and it's another day. It's been another day in the office, even though that could have been the last day on Earth. That's pretty intense. That is stressful. But I find it very difficult to believe that over 25 scientists, I believe it was a total of 29. This doesn't cover a few of them. There's a total of, I think, 29 at least, where it's just way too many. There's more articles. Let's check out another one here. Gonna do this just in case on any leaks. Weird. List of UFO researchers who what? Certainly nothing is stranger, and breeds speculate more quickly that 30-some deaths. So it's saying, what you may be asking, does SDI research have to do with the deaths of UFO investigators? Theoretically, quite a lot. If an investigator has hypothesized, or if, as many investigators have hypothesized, Star Wars research was initiated with the dual purpose of protecting, quote, us against Soviet aggression. Oh, this is great. Oh, man. Whoa. All right, so right here. Okay. All right, Star Wars research, blah, blah, dual purpose of protecting us against Soviet aggression and or the presence of UFO craft in our atmosphere. Then several possibilities arise. Most compelling is the idea of that the Soviet KGB, realizing that the Western powers were on the verge of protecting a high-powered beam weapon that could be used from outer space or atmospheric space against them, marshaled a last gasp, all-out espionage offensive to slow or destroy the project. If this scenario is true, and the weapon was indeed successfully developed, we have an explanation for the collapse of the Soviet Union. This is insane. I just found that. It was just weird. So 2020 did a special on this. Huh. I'm not signed in, but that's crazy. Yeah, this is I mean, it's known. But a lot of folks just don't talk about it. And then the let's see, when they released this information, let's look at this. What is this called? Where was it? Chicago Tribune. Tribune. Look at the date on this. I want you to just really get the date on this. That's not what I'm looking for. Let's see, SDI defense. Well, anyway, it was released, I want to say, just a few days prior. Just a few days prior, before it became public. Let's see, SDI defense. Let's just look in Chicago Tribune. That's 5285. History repeating itself. Oh my gosh. This is from May 1st, 85. Just waiting for this website to finish spamming me. There we go. Oh, still wants to spam me. Okay, it's just going to do its thing. See if any of this would necessarily be relevant. I mean, these are all good. Let's just get out of there. I want to say it was May. It had to have been May. Oh, and the same day that he disappeared. Let me show you this. Watch this. Watch this. You're gonna love this. This is just something random. I'd say this is a coincidence. It has to be. World events, May 1988. All right, let's look at this craziness. Jackson Pollock sold Search for $4.8 million. All right, so right here, he disappeared this day. So let's see. So the same day this stuff happened, but where did it go? Senate ratified a treaty eliminating medium-range nuclear missiles only a few days later. Senate ratified a treaty eliminating medium-range nuclear missiles just a few days later. How weird. And they were actually saying that some of those scientists were about to get new jobs or about to switch and transition into new positions. And then that happened. I mean, if they're ending your program, what are they going to do? Be like, okay, well, forget everything that you've been working on. Just forget it all. Here's like the little zapper from Men in Black. Here's, don't worry about all that. Yeah. Yep. Again, slippery slope argument with that, but Men in Black. was on yesterday. Yeah, it aged well. It aged well. Yeah. Or the fact that he's buried in Arlington National Cemetery, and that's typically designed for veterans who, first of all, died on active duty while serving the country, or were honorably discharged. Nope. Like, if you unalive yourself in the military, it's not honorable discharge. It's dishonorable. But nope. Given a hero's burial, you know, the whole 9 yards, the whole pomp and circumstance, the 21 gun salute. That's like I think that was my first memory. In fact, that's the sound of those guns. That was fun. It's a weird memory, right? Weird first memory. Yeah. Loads. So yeah, I'll just leave that. I'll leave that, friends. There's a lot. There's a lot that happened that time. It's quite a bit. So yeah, I won't go into anymore. I'll just kind of leave it. It really can't. That was fun. Short chill stream, friends. Yeah, because I really could. I could go on forever. I seriously could. I want to keep it somewhat focused because I have a tendency, obviously, to bounce around, go everywhere. And this is something where it needs to be delivered in at least a more concise manner. Ideally, it would be just nice to have a whole, like, I guess, documentary or whatever you want to call it for YouTube, but this is fine. I'm not too great with that whole video editing thing. So I like to just do things live, raw and uncut. Friends, thank you so much for being here. Thanks for hanging out. It's Friday. You can be anywhere in the world. You're here. We're doing it live. Thank you, Pierogi Sandwich, for those 100 bits. Yeah, I would like to continue this. I just have to really watch what I say and do. I really do. It's obviously there's implications, friends. I mean, this is, if it's true, but we'll never know if it is or not. Just very thought provoking. I don't think anyone's really brought that kind of attention to it, as far as like these other countries that are having these things, and it's okay because it never happened in America. Everyone that was in that project over here in America were fine. None of them had mysterious deaths. None of them disappeared for a week on end and were found by, quote, found, air quotes, by two hunters that don't exist, by the way. They don't exist. First of all, the police, the state police that were initially called, when I submitted a request to get the record, the police record, there's 3 of them for just that one event. They didn't have any of them. They said that being that it was over 25 years ago, we don't keep record of those and they've been destroyed. Well, guess what? Guess who had a copy of one of them? So in those reports, it actually talks about it is, yeah, it's unique. Yeah, that's the thing, Pierogi Sandwich, and the thing is, like, I'll never know for sure. So I mean, that's kind of like a really tough thing for someone to, I guess, cope with. It's like, hey, your parents no longer with you. Like, what happened? I don't know. This is what's face value, but it's obviously not. Like, it's just not. There's just no. So they put the names of the individuals. Of course, they blanked out their addresses and stuff, but you would at least know the general area of where they would live. They would at least have lived in that state at that time, because I don't know of anyone who would frequent a hunting area and not live in that state. It would just be weird. They don't exist. And pretty much with anyone in the United States, if you have a first and last name and a state and the general time that they lived in that state, you can pretty much get a decent direction to follow, a good, lead. These folks don't exist. They don't exist. They're not real people. So that's funny. Oh, it says that these individuals knocked on someone's door to use their phone to call police. That's how it happened. So I'll let you do what you want with that information. That's just tiny. Again, friends, these are just tiny little nuggets of information, little pieces, little tiny pieces. So, yeah, there's so much more to it. It's mind blowing. It really is. It truly is. All right, friends, I'll let you go. I gotta let you go. I gotta. All right, friends. I'll be back next week. I don't know if it'll be Monday, Wednesday, Monday and Wednesday, Monday and Wednesday and Friday, Monday, Friday, Wednesday, Friday, just Friday. I'm joking, friends. I don't know. It'll be next week sometime. Just depends on what's going to happen in the news, because obviously we're on the verge of something very bad. I'm hoping for the best. It's not looking so great. So we'll see what happens, friends. Play it by ear. So I will see you next week. Take care of yourselves. Take care of one another. Think for yourselves, friends. Critical thinking skills are definitely needed at a time like this. So you got this, friends. I'll see you next time. Bye.
He's on fire!